So, I am doing this video 20 minutes after the Timbers versus Sporting KC game just ended, which ended 0-0. But unfortunately, I will not be uploading this video until probably around 8:30 my time because apparently the Sports Hub episode 70 video that I uploaded yesterday did not upload on YouTube. I don't know why exactly that is the case. It must have been a corrupt file or whatsoever, but when I checked just a moment ago, it was not there. And when I go onto the video manager on YouTube, it just says that it wasn't there. So I don't know why that is the case. I had to re-upload it just a couple of minutes ago, and it's about an hour away from finish uploading, which means that I cannot upload this video until I finish that one. So yeah, very frustrated because I really want to upload this video. I really want to get this on my channel straight away because we had some very interesting matchup, and can we all agree kind of one of the matchup might have been over by now? I mean, I won't say that this is completely over by Atlanta versus the Red Bulls, even though it is 3-0, because, you know, anything can happen, and certainly from what we've seen so far this season in the playoffs, stats and history just goes completely against everything in this playoffs. You think in the past that this team has done well against another team? Yeah, this season that doesn't matter. That team will find a way to go against the stats and go against the history and basically shock everybody. So I guess that maybe is the only good news I will say to Red Bulls fan about this game. But other than that, wow, this was almost a very one-sided affair. And I'll get to the controversial disallowed goal by the Red Bulls right around the 55th minute. But this was really one-sided for majority part of the game. I mean, Atlanta were by far the better team. Martinez, Escobar, and Villalba were all on the score sheet, and the Red Bull defense was absolutely poor in this game. Probably one of the worst defensive display they have whole season long. And it doesn't help the fact that hours before this game was about to start, that they announced that Kemar Lawrence was not going to be in the starting 11. Apparently he has an injury to his leg, and there's no word whether or not he'll come back to the second leg, and I'll probably talk about that when we get to the news of the week on Wednesday. But yeah, it doesn't help the fact that he did not play in this game and that his replacement didn't really do a very good job. I mean, I think Atlanta knew that was probably the biggest weakness for the Red Bulls in terms of the defensive end, and they keep putting the ball to the right. I mean, Escobar just run absolute riot on that right side, and you could argue that these two goals probably would not had happened if Kemar Lawrence was in the defensive end. That is how much they miss him. But other than that, the other thing that I was really shocked by the Red Bulls in this game is that they did not press. So we've been saying that all season long, the Red Bulls, the reason why they're such a good team, and they are the best team in MLS in terms of the points that they got in the regular season, is because they are a very good pressing team. They suffocate team in the middle of the park. They do their pressing better than what we have ever seen from any MLS team that likes to press. And in this game, I don't know what was Chris Armas thinking, but he decided to just sit back and hopefully they can hit Atlanta on the counters, and that just completely plays into Atlanta hands. I mean, you do not want to sit back against this Atlanta team with this kind of quality that they have in their team in terms of going forward. And I'm just kind of scratching my head. What was Chris Armas thinking about not pressing and just kind of sit back? Was he thinking that maybe they can get a 0-0 draw in this game and then they can head back to Red Bull Arena with an advantage? I mean, I'm just really confused about that. But as for Atlanta, obviously this is a dream resort for them, and now they have one foot in the MLS Cup final. Obviously, I don't want to just quickly say that they officially been into the MLS Cup final, because knowing that when you see past Atlanta team in other sports, you see that they are known to choke big leads. And even in a 3-0 lead, I'm pretty sure any Atlanta fans that support a other club in Atlanta do not think that this is an advantage whatsoever. But now I want to quickly talk about that incident right around the 55th minute where it looked like the Red Bulls got their away goal. The Red Bulls at the end of this game and right around the latter part of the second half was really chasing for that away goal, which also kind of explained why they were cut open so many times in the second half. But they thought they got their away goal right around the 54th minute, and I think it was BWP that scored the goal. And originally, when I look on the replay, I thought it was maybe Tyler Adams offside on the near side. That's why they go to VAR and disallowed it. But instead, they disallowed it because Alex Mule apparently obstructed Brad Guzan's view. And I know that this is a rule that certainly hasn't been in play a lot of time this season, but there is a rule where if you're a defender and you basically block the view of the goalkeeper and you're in an offside position, then yeah, that of course is going to be disallowed. And also the fact that if you're close enough to the goalkeeper and you obstruct his view, then yeah, that of course is offside. And when I look at this, it's tough. Okay, it's really tough to tell whether or not if this was really obvious that Mule actually obstructed Guzan's view. I mean, when you look at it toward the angle where Guzan was looking at, then it kind of does look like Mule was obstructing his view. But then again, he wasn't like really close to him. I mean, he was probably about 6 yards out between Guzan's and also where Mule is standing. And also, I know that Atlanta fans did bring up that incident earlier in the season where I believe Darlington Nagbe had a goal disallowed because Joseph Martinez obstructed Sean Johnson's view. And I think that one was pretty obvious that he obstructed that view because Joseph Martinez was literally standing right in front of Sean Johnson, and he even kind of made a contact with Sean Johnson, and that is just clearly obstruction. This one was not. Alex Mule wasn't really just standing right in front of Brad Guzan. He was only like 6 yards out. So the question is, does that mean that that's not really obstruction? Does that mean that Brad Guzan could have done a little bit better in that instant? And also, the other important thing is, was Alex Mule offside in that situation? And when I look at it back, it's very close. The fact that whether or not he was in an offside position, and that if he was, then there is no question that of course is an obstruction, because going back to the rules, where if you're in an offside position and you obstruct the view of the goalkeeper, if you're close enough, which, again, it's kind of tough to see if that 6 yards is actually close enough to be obvious that he was obstructing the view. But if he was in an offside position, then yeah, I think that was a good call. But I'll let you guys debate in the comments below, and I know there's been a lot of mixed reaction to that. Some people said that should have been a call, or that shouldn't have been a disallowed goal, and that call shouldn't be overturned by VAR. And also, just to kind of go even more deeper into this instant, remember, in VAR, it has to be clear and obvious. And so far this season, there's just been so many kind of ways where there's times where it looks clear and obvious, and it's not. And then there's time where it looks clear and obvious, but the referee thinks that it's not clear and obvious. So it's kind of very inconsistent in terms of that perspective. But I think if I want to go into that perspective, then yeah, I'm going to be probably spending an hour talking about this incident. So let me know in the comments below, do you think that should have been a disallowed goal? And whether or not if that goal should have been counted. But overall, like I said, Atlanta, they have 1 foot in the MLS Cup final, 1 foot from hosting the MLS Cup final at Mercedes-Benz Stadium because both of these teams have the best record in MLS, and the winner of this team will be facing either Portland or Sporting KC in that MLS Cup final. And speaking of Portland versus Sporting KC, so this game ended 0-0 again. Just like what happened in the regular season where Sporting KC and Portland play at Providence Park, ended 0-0 too. And if you're a Timbers fan, I'm thinking that this has to be a very frustrating match for you to watch because they were definitely the better team in this game and they had so many chances on the attacking end. But for whatever reason, they just cannot break down the Sporting KC defense. And credit Sporting KC in terms of what they did in this game. I mean, I know some Sporting KC fan that they should have probably been a little bit more attacking, and in many ways, they probably shouldn't have just bunkered down and hope that they can get a result at Children's Mercy Park in the second leg. But at the same time, it kind of, the way that Sporting KC play kind of reminds me of the old Sporting KC, kind of the Peter Vermees style of Sporting KC, where they want to be very compact, they want to make team very hard to break down, and Portland had a lot of trouble trying to break them down. But it's also a combination of the fact that Portland, they were just so poor in terms of their final ball, and also there's just so many times where it looked like there was a good opportunity on the counter and Portland just completely wasted because they either the guy that is on the ball made a poor decision of decided to just keep the ball, or the fact that he just lofted the ball and it just goes into the sideline and go out of bounds. And also, not to mention the fact that there also had so many chances in the 18-yard box where whenever one of their play goes into the 18-yard box, they just so many times they waited too long to shoot. Like, there's so many times where in this game I thought for sure that when a Portland player gets in a good position, he should just take a shot at goal. But no, instead he decided to delay it. He decided to try to get a better position, but instead he just ran into one of the Sporting KC players because Sporting KC have a chance to try to push the attacker wide, and that's what happened in terms of the attacking end for the Timbers. It was very frustrated to see. And also, by the way, there was an instant right around the 67th minute in the second half where Portland thought that they finally got that breakthrough, but unfortunately, when that ball was coming in, I think it was a free kick from Portland in that instant. When the ball was coming in, it looked like Richwell and also Guzman was both offside, and the ball actually got to Richwell first. So, even if it gets to Guzman, then that still be offside. But it got to Richwell first, and then, it looked like that was gonna be the goal that gave Portland the lead, but a good call by the AR ruining that offside because, as I said before, it looked like Richwell was offside in that instant. But overall, when you look at this result, certainly I guess this is kind of good news and bad news for both of these teams. The good news for the Timbers is that they didn't concede an away goal to Sporting KC, and all they need to do in that second leg is to just get a score draw. If they can get a 1-1 draw or a 2-2 draw, then they are moving on to the next round because they have the away goals. The bad news for the Timbers is that they now have to go to Children's Mercy Park and they have to go on the road to get a result. And the road has just not been a friendly place for the Timbers so far this season. Yes, I know they got a result against the Sounders in the last round, but that was because of the Cascadia Derby. I mean, that usually is kind of an unpredictable result. But when you look at overall the Timbers, especially in the second half of the season, they were absolutely woeful on the road. And, I think with Sporting KC and how good they've been at home and how poor that Portland is on the road, maybe Sporting KC still has the advantage. But having said that, Sporting KC, the good news for them in this match is that, they didn't concede a goal to the Timbers, so they're going to be heading into that second leg with a chance to just grab a win, and then they of course will move on into the next round. And basically they got out of Providence Park with sort of a resort, and now coming back to Children's Mercy Park, they're going to be very confident that they can get it done in front of their home fans. The bad news is for Sporting KC is that if they do concede a goal, or if they get a draw in this game against the Timbers in that second leg, if it's a score draw, then yeah, they would be out of the playoffs because they didn't get that away goal. And just to kind of say it in a simple way, for Sporting KC, they have to win in the second leg. A draw would definitely not do them any good, because even a 0-0 draw, they have to go to extra time, which means that they're going to have to still get a win in that extra time to move on into the next round. And like I said, a score draw will definitely not do Sporting KC any good, because Portland will have that away goal. So yeah, we're going to see how this second leg is going to play out for both of these games. I'm pretty sure this one will know what's going to happen in this matchup. I mean, you know, it's really, I don't want to just say it's official that Atlanta is moving on into MLS Cup final, and that, you know, I don't want to just say the Red Bulls have no chance, because no team has ever come back from a 3-0 deficit in the first leg to move on into the next round of the playoff in any round in MLS playoff history. But it's also the fact that you know, I also want to say that Atlanta is 3-0 up, and that they are in a very good position. And even if the Red Bulls does win 2-0 in the next leg, it is not gonna matter either way, because Atlanta got more goals in the aggregate score. And we'll see how this game is gonna go on, since now it's kind of all to play for between Portland and Sporting KC in the second leg. But yeah, either way, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you guys leave a like, smash that subscribe button, and yeah, I will see you guys next time.